Hi friends, this is Gauri Naik speaking for Logix Computer Academy. In this video, we are going to show you some of the operators that are used in C. The first operator that we'll be looking at is the ternary operator. The ternary operator is the question mark and the colon. It's used instead of the if statement. So here in this example, if we enter two values for A and B, a simple if statement would look like so. If A is greater than B, then A should be assigned to Z, else B should be assigned to Z. So Z contains the value of the greater number. So when we print Z, it should print the greater of the two. Now this statement is a very simple if statement and it could be used with the ternary operator to make it even more simple. So when you use it with the ternary operator, you need not write the word if. You will write it like so. The condition is written in brackets and then the true statement is written after the question mark and the false is written after the colon. So this is the form of a simple ternary operator, that is conditional operator. So here we read this as if A is greater than B, then, which is the question mark, A is assigned to Z, else B is assigned to Z. It will print whatever is in Z. Let's run this program and see. It's asking us to enter the values. When we enter the values, it prints 56 is greater. So here you can see that it has assigned B to Z. So this is the simple form of the ternary operator. You can use the ternary operator in a different way as follows. So we take the value of A from the user and check whether it is odd or even. So we ask the user to enter the value and with the help of the ternary operator, so this means the mod operator returns a remainder of a division. So A mod 2, which means that if A is divided by 2 and the remainder is equal to 0, then it should print A is even. So %D is even. Else, which is the colon, it should print %D is odd, which is again the value of A. So this is the way we could write the ternary operator. Let's run this program and see. So when it asks us to enter the value, it prints 34 is even. So this is another way of using the ternary operator without assigning the value. The next type of operators that we'll be seeing is the relational operators. There are many types of relational operators: the less than, the greater than and the equal to, or the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and not equal to. Here in this example, we have taken the value of, we have already assigned A and B with values 10 and 20 respectively. Here we ask if A is greater in relation to B. So if the value of A is greater in relation to B, it should print A is greater than B. Else if A is less than B, it should print A is less than B. And if A is equal to, this is the equal to operator which checks for the equality of the two operands surrounding it. So if A is equal to B, then it should print A is equal to B. Another type is the greater than, less than equal to, the greater than equal to, and let's see how this is done. So if A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20 again, if A is greater than or equal to B, so this checks for two conditions, whether A is greater than or equal to B, then it should print true. Now in this case, it will print A is less than B whereas in this case it will print again false, that is A is less than B, because one of the condition in this is true. Let's see the next type of operator, which is the not equal to operator. It checks whether A is not equal to B. In this case, A is not equal to B, so it should print A is not equal to B. Now let's run the program and see the result. Here, as we can see in the first case, A is less than B because A's value is 10 and B's is 20. In the second case, it has printed false because A is less than B. And in the third case, it has printed A is not equal to B. Now let's change the values of A and B and see the result. So here we can say that if A is 10 and B is 10, let's see what happens. Now A is less than B is again true, but in this case, in the second case, it has printed true because A is now equal to B. So this operator, one of the operands is true. One of the operator, the result of this equal to operator is true. So it has printed true. And the third answer, if A not equal to B is false, so it has printed A is equal to B, which is the last answer. So these are the way in which we use the relational operators. Let's see the next type of operators, that is the logical operators. So this is the form of the logical operator, the AND, OR and NOT. Let's see how to use these logical operators in a program. If we take the value, initialize the value of A to 20 and B to 10, and if we ask if A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 10, the AND operator will check whether both the conditions surrounding it are true. If both of them are true, then it prints true. Else, if even one of them is false, it will print false. If both of them are false, then also it will print false. So both the conditions have to be true, and in this case they are not true, so it should print false. Let's run the program and see. So here you can see that the AND operator has printed false. Now, if you use an OR operator, if we have initialized the value of A to 20 and B to 10, and we are asking whether A is equal to 10 or B is equal to 10, which means that one of the condition has to be true. Here, the condition B is equal to 10 is true. Although the first condition is not true, it will print true and it will ignore the statement. So the OR operator has printed a result true. This is the way in which we use the NOT operator. Here we have asked if A. This means that we are asking the compiler if the value of A is true, then it should print true, else it should print false. The question that comes to one's mind is, what is true? 0 is always false, whereas any other value except 0 is true. So if A contains 10, it should be true. If A contains 10,000, it should be true. Or maybe if A contains -100, it should be true. Which means that any value other than 0 will evaluate to true, else if it's 0, then it evaluates to false. So here in our case, if A contains a value other than 0, in our case A contains 10, and that's why it's printing true. The next statement is the opposite of this statement. If not A, which means that if A is not true. So if A is not true, then it should print true, else it should print false. Now here A is true, so it should print false. So this checks if A is true or not. So these are the different forms of the logical operators. There are another type of interesting operators, and those are called as the increment and decrement operators. Let's see what they are. The increment and decrement operators are the plus plus and the minus minus. Plus plus means increment the value of the operand by 1, and here minus minus, which means increment the operand by the value of the operand by. Plus plus means increment the value of the operand by 1, and minus minus, which means decrement the value of an operand by 1. But there is a difference. In these operators, we can use them as post-increment or pre-increment operators. Let's see the difference. Here the value of A is 10. We are assigning the value of A into B, but we have said plus plus A. This is the pre-increment operator. So this is the pre-increment operator, which means that the value of A will be incremented by 1 and then it will be assigned to B. Let's see this with the help of a diagram. Here, as you can see, if the value of A is 10 and if I increment A and assign it to B, there are actually two operations taking place. This is the pre-increment operator. So the value of A is incremented first and then A is assigned to B. So in this case, A will be incremented by 1, which means that the value will now become 11 and then 11 will be assigned to B. So both should print 11. In the next case, we have used the post-increment operator. In this case, A is incremented after it is assigned to B. So the first operation is assign the value of A to B and then increment the value of A. So if A is 10, A is first assigned to B, which means that the value of B will now be 10 and A then is incremented by 1. So B will print 10 whereas A will print 11. As I said earlier, the plus plus A operator gives us a result as A is equal to 11 and B is equal to 11, whereas the second gives us the result A is equal to 12 and B is equal to 11. This is because here A has already become 11 and when it becomes 11 then it is assigned to B. So both print A and B as 11. Now here the value of A is already 11, so that is assigned to B. So B prints 11 and then the value of A is incremented by 1 and that's why A prints as 12. So here you can see that A prints 12 and B prints as 11. Now let's see what happens here. There is something called associativity of operators. In programming languages, the associativity or fixity of an operator is actually a property that determines how operators of the same precedence are grouped in absence of parentheses. What does this mean? This means that if we have an expression like this, for the plus plus or minus minus operator, which are called the increment and decrement operators, the associativity is from right to left, which means that the operators will be evaluated from right to left. So in this case, the plus plus will occur first, and since this is a pre-increment operator, the value of A will be incremented by 1, which will become 11. We have assigned the value 10 to A here. So here the value of 11 is incremented by 1. That means it will become 11. Now the value of A is 11. So A and A is added, which means that this should become 11 plus 11. And so this should print 22. Here you can see that A is 11 and it has printed 22. In the next case, this is a post-increment operator. So, the value of A is incremented after the operation of adding it. Here the value of A is 10. So here from the associativity, since it is from right to left, this value of A is 10. Here too it is A. So this is 10 plus 10, that is 20. 20 is assigned to B and then the value of A is incremented. Hence A prints as 11 and B prints as 20. Let's see this in the diagram. Here you can see that the value of A is 10. So if we say B is equal to A plus A, these two operations will take place. The value of A will be incremented first, since this is a pre-increment operator. So the value of A is incremented first and then, which makes it 11. So this becomes 11. So A plus A, that is 11 plus 11, is added and assigned to B. So B should print 22 in the first case. In the second case, as we saw, A's value was 10 and we had written A plus A plus plus. Now this is a post-increment operator. So the value of A, which is 10, is added to this 10. So 10 and 10, 20 is first assigned to B and then the value of A is incremented. So here you can see that A and A are added and assigned to B and then in the next step A is incremented by 1. So this should print 10 plus 10, that is B will be equal to 20 and then A will be incremented by 1. So A's value will be printed as 11. So this is the result. As we can see, A's value is 11 in this case and B's value is 22 in the first case because it has printed 11 plus 11. In the next case, A's value is 11 because A is 10 here, but it got incremented after the operation, so it printed 11. But B's value was only 20 because of the post-increment operator, 10 plus 10 got added and assigned to B. So this is the way we use the post and pre-increment operators. Hope this video was useful and easy to understand. Please rate, comment or subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you.